Hey y'all, it's Danny Gold, and this podcast is sponsored by the Anchor app. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. First off, it's free, and who doesn't like free stuff? And it also has creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or your computer. It will also distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. So go ahead and download the free Anchor app, or you can go to anchor.fm to get started. What's going on, y'all? It's your girl Danny Go, and welcome to the Gold Spot Podcast. So I have a special guest with me today. He's a talented artist. He's opened up for major artists such as Ludacris, Ella Mai, Cameron, and that's just to name a few. If you haven't heard his biggest single, I told you, and I don't know where you've been. So I welcome MC Trey to the Gold Spot Podcast. What's going on with you,
Hey,
sir?
what's up, Miss Gold? Hey, I appreciate that intro. That was dope. I like that.
Oh, I tried.
What's going on?
So you're nothing much, I'm just going to interrogate you today. Nothing major, nothing major.
I'm gonna start sweating over here.
You'll be fine. It won't be too bad.
Word.
So, so since you're one of the hottest artists right now, especially in St. Louis, I know it didn't just happen overnight.
Mhm.
So how'd you get your start in music? Do you come from a musically inclined family? Like, what's your background?
So I started actually making music back in fifth grade with my cousin. We went to a Bow Wow concert one day, and we saw how all the girls were reacting. We saw the full show production. He was our age, our size. We was like, oh, I need in on that. And then, always had, love for music, from my family, hip hop on my pop side, R&B, and, neo soul on my mom's side. And then once we had that bug bit me, I started writing music with my cousin. We formed a little group called the Young Stars. And the first time I touched the stage is really what I would say when I was like, all right, this is what I want to do. And from that point, I grew to going to college. When I went to college, I was hosting parties, doing events, anything I could to get my hand on the mic. And even in high school, like I said, I was actually in the band. So I actually, how to read music, and I actually, went a step further to further my music knowledge because I knew this is something I wanted to do. And like I said, when I went to college, and really that's when I became MC Trey and got the microphone, and I ain't let it go since.
Okay. So as far as the current times we're living in, we are dealing with a pandemic. We're living in it, and even though things have eased up, things in the entertainment industry have, they've had to switch it up. So how do you feel about the turn the industry has taken, like such as virtual awards like the BET Awards and upcoming ones? Like, how
Yeah.
do you feel about that?
Man, it's like we living in the future, ain't it? It's almost like the Jetsons and like, all these different cartoons and all these different shows came to life way sooner than we expected, honestly. But I'm a roll with the flow, roll with the punches, go with the flow type of guy. So, you know, as black people, we've always been able to adapt and to make something out of what, we think is nothing. So, I like it. What I mean? I like, the way the world has, grown to adapt, and we didn't just shut down completely and be like, all right, everybody for themselves. But I'm a fan of it. Of course, I love the energy and the different, emotions and the different connections you get to make with actually doing live shows, because that's like my home. I love the stage, performing and getting that energy from the crowd, in real life. But like I said, it's providing that that escape for a lot of people, from reality. Because some people's reality aren't, hasn't been the best during this pandemic. I've been one that been blessed to keep a job, work from home remotely, things like that. But I know real close friends and family that have been working, and they need certain escapes, and these type of virtual concerts or drive-in concerts or things of that nature, or helping people escape the reality that some people live in. So I appreciate, the creative minds that were behind this. And, I'm not gonna lie to you. When everything first happened, I was like, I'm gonna start doing shows at drive-ins. Next thing you know, you see the stuff start popping up everywhere. So, I kind of had the foresight to kind of see it, but we never pushed the button on it because we just still didn't know how everything worked. But I'm excited, to see exactly how far it goes because of different virtual aspects that people have been implementing. And then when outside does open back up, how when them two worlds clash together, it's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be crazy.
Right.
I just know it's gonna be wild. So, but I'm excited to turn it. We actually got some things up our sleeve to where we're gonna do an installment of a sort of a drive-in style show too. But that's down the line. A couple months. We come back and talk about that one.
Right,
we come back
right.
and talk about that one. Sure.
So how have you taken advantage of being quarantined, like being in a house where we haven't been able to, like, creatively when it comes to your music? What things do you feel like, okay, now that I'm stuck in the house, I can work on this, that, and the third? Like, how do you feel like you've taken
Absolutely.
advantage of things?
Quarantine, the best thing that ever happened to me. I'll tell you that right now. And a lot of creators, I'm sure, probably feel the same way. Creatives, parents, just all around being able to center yourself because, the world not going 100 miles per hour. You literally sitting still. I'm a father too. So, I was able to spend a lot of time and a lot of bonding with my son, during the end of school and then the summertime being in the house. And, it was of course you go through your rough patches, you know what I mean? Of course, like the beginning, you real motivated, like are you working out, doing in-home workouts every day, you reading, and then eventually you hit that dry stretch, you're like, I'm ready to get out this crib like now.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, it's definitely a roller coaster, but I would definitely say one of the terms that DJ Khaled called it, and I like, it's called the pandemic. So he called it the pandemic instead of the pandemic. And it really, that holds true to where I was with it during this time because, I had time to, really plan out my rollouts for my singles and my project that I got coming up soon and, my releases and my merchandise. And I was actually went pen to pad again. I haven't went pen to pad in a long time because life been so fast, but I've actually been able to write, like journal, and I started a short film script. Like, I've just kind of just in that space to where, like, you back almost like you in high school, you know what I'm saying? You ain't really got no car. You just, once you get done doing what you're doing, you at the crib. And it's like, all right, let's do something. Let's find something to do. And, and the creative, just take over. Then it's gives you time, like you said, to tap back into like your roots too. I mean, like I done watch I ain't gonna lie to you, I've just been on here on Disney Plus with my son, getting him at Hey Arnold, and you know what I'm saying, and like the Recess, and what is it, Smart Guy, a couple different joints where like I get that nostalgia feeling, and then that's kind of generated a lot of creativity for me as well too. Just keep it funky, and yeah, man, just been able to tap in and you slow down and be present, honestly, with your family and what's going on in the world. You really got to be present and what I'm saying, aware of what's going on, and that's helped me center and slow me down and be more calculated with my steps and my creative process as well.
So when it comes to your creative process, do you feel like it's pressure for creatives and artists like yourself to stay relevant during these times just so you can keep the attention of your fan base? Like how you were saying, like you were thinking about doing like a drive-in concert and just other different ways of staying creative since you can't perform. Do you feel like, okay, I have to hurry up and think of something, something to do since I can't go out here and perform like I used to? Do you feel
Right.
like it's just that pressure to figure out, okay, what's the next thing I can do?
Right. Yes. I feel like some people might feel it as pressure. I feel that I like, I'm a cup half full type of guy. So I took it as like, a sign to say like, all right, you've been moving too fast, slow it down. You know what I mean? And then I've always been a guy to what my ideology is to never let the internet rush you. You know what I mean? So no matter what somebody else got going on, what they doing over here and over there, don't let that speed up your process. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like, it is, you get a certain sense of, anxiety. I feel like when you feel like you said, is, and then, of course we had all the different recent events with George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and all these different things that I feel like pulling people away almost from their art and call to action to actually, get active on what's been going on and get out in these streets and in your community. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like, a lot of these things have, they pull you away from it, but at the same time, it's kind of really just giving you more to create and more, ideas more so than, I feel like pressuring people to just put random stuff out. People are actually thinking way deeper now, and kind of planning things out a little bit more, strategically, You know, it's just being like, all right, let's put this out. But you know, of course, the social media, how that is, you know, of course, you know, you gonna put a picture up, you don't put a song up, you know, that timeline refresh, people don't see you or hear you. So, you know, it is tough to keep content up and things like that. But I feel like, you know, with, you know, the ideology that I have of, you know, don't let the internet rush you. You know, so I always like to, you know, just kind of take my time with it. And, you know, if, you know, my brand and my slogan is do you. You know what I mean? So it's like, you know, do you at all times. So no matter what nobody else got going on, do you, take your time with it. You know what I mean? And just kind of, you know, like I said, don't let the internet rush you. I feel like the pressure, you know what I'm saying? It sometimes happens, but at the same time, like I said, you just got to remember, like I said, all right, when it's time, it's going to be time. It's going to feel right. You're going to know it's right, you know, but yeah, so I feel like slight pressure, but at the same time, you know, it's all about just timing in general, you know.
Well, I will say I definitely, like, during the pandemic, I have seen you a lot more on my timeline. I'm like, oh, he
Yeah,
just pumping out a bunch of stuff, like
yeah,
from
facts.
promos and just stuff. I'm like, oh,
Facts.
he working.
Yeah,
Okay,
and
I
that
see
was
what's
it.
going
We
on.
did take a lot of time with here with my manager Julian, man. He, you know, we started off just like doing marketing and advertising campaigns, and I was like, bro, come on in, man, come on to the home team. And so, you know, we made the transition from that to management during this time, man. You know, with just his expertise on being able to, create this, have the sponsored posts, and you know, the different things that I had planned already that we just kind of like stretched out. You know what I mean? Instead of like, you know, doing them like rapid fire like I planned on doing them, we like stretched the different couple things out, and then, you know, it led us to get creative. Like the 3 mixtape that I dropped, that wasn't even a plan. That was just like you said, that was one of those, you know, essentially, you know, one of those pandemic things. We was like, all right, since we can't do what we initially planned, what we gonna do now? You know what I mean? So it was like, all
Right.
right, boom, let's just put my 3 mixes together, put it out. You know what I mean? So that was a, you know, result of the pandemic, and you know, tending to stay, you know, relevant and, you know, in people's faces. So to kind of lead them up to where we are, where we headed into now in these next couple months, when my release, I'll be dropping my project. So yeah, it was, you know, Julian, man, is a big tool on that, and my cousin Brandon that, you know, work at Facebook, and we got some plugs. So we've been really putting in the work and the time on that social media grind, because you know, you could be everywhere but nowhere on the internet. And that's literally what the case was. We was nowhere. We was at the cribs, but we was everywhere because, you know, you have that internet presence. And that's big, you know, and that marketing aspect, it's huge, man. A lot of people think you just rap and put it out, then that's going to be it. But you really got to invest into the marketing and advertising side as much or more than you do when you actually recording and making the music, honestly.
I agree. I definitely agree. Speaking of your mixtape, I listened to it and I definitely like it.
Oh, you rock with it?
And yes, I do. I was
Hey,
like, just the start of it with the, you know, with the Jack Harlow sample. I was
yeah,
like, okay. And so it's just like
yeah.
when you listen to that, since that's like one of the hottest records out now, you
Mm-hmm.
automatically get tuned in, and then, you
Right,
know, everything else follows.
right. Yeah.
So how did you narrow down the samples that you want to use? Like, you have Jack Harlow, you got the baby, you got Chris Brown. How were you able to narrow down, like, oh, okay, I think I want to use these samples for this mixtape?
Mm-hmm. I just kind of go with that was the stuff that I like. You know what I'm saying? Like that Jack was popular. Like I got tapped in on that early because I had some people put me on that, and I was like, yo, this hard. And it was just like, you know, as a rapper, you know, you hear beats and you just automatically start rapping. You know what I mean? So then I got my my series of 3 Style Thursday. So like I
Mm-hmm.
normally would do that on Thursdays, and like back in March, like that was what I did. I was planning to release a couple things like right in, you know, April time, but then March, of course, when we locked down. But like in that time, like that was an up and coming song. I was like, man, let me catch this song before it really go crazy. You know what I mean? Because I heard it. I was like, yo, this song gonna go crazy when people really catch wind of it, and they did. So it was just like, you know, I just kind of like catching, you know. So when I'm on my 3 mixtapes, my three styles, I like to catch some of the hottest songs, the songs that I think are hot that might pop. You know what I mean? And then jump on them. And then it's, you know, I just like music, you know what I'm saying, that talk to me, or somebody put it on, be like, yo, rap on this. Cause like the Chris Brown, somebody was like, rap on this. You know, somebody, yo, I think you would kill this, rap on this. Or, you know, or like the Masagio Tadao. I don't know if you heard that when you got too deep into the project. And that was like one of the
I was
ones
trying
like,
to figure out if that was the one. I was like, who sang this song? I'm trying to remember because I listened to the whole thing, but I was just like, I forgot who sang this song. Because it
yeah,
was a few
yeah,
samples where I'm like, I know the song, I just
right.
don't remember who, you know, whose it
Or
is.
who they originally was. And that's good. I mean, I did something right. If you couldn't even tell who it was no more, you know, that's that Lil Wayne effect, you know. but nah, but yeah, man, I just kind of like catch songs that I like, that I feel, you know what I'm saying, that talk to me, that's like I fit my style, and at the same time, you know, songs that's hot, people might suggest. And then, of course, you got to sprinkle a few originals in there too. So, it's kind of get the people, what I'm saying, that the Lil Wayne dedication, that mixtape feel to where we just jump on other people's
Hmm.
beats, jacket for beats, and then sprinkle a few originals on there. So what's hot at the time is I just, go what was hot. People catch their ear like it did. I think it worked.
Right. And I do like how you had like St. Louis artists on there, like you had KB the Writer and A
Facts.
Game,
Facts.
and I was just like, okay, that's good that
Yeah.
you're in touch with other St. Louis artists, which brings me
Facts.
to how do you feel about the St. Louis music scene, like being getting and the support that you get, just from like normal fans. Like, how do you feel about? Do you feel like it can be deeper? Do you feel like you getting the love that you expect, or how do you feel
Yeah,
about it?
it's love. I think, what I'm saying, for artists like myself that's, that's not necessarily, street or, I'm not, what I'm saying, doing a whole lot of gang banging or aggressive type of music. I'm the scene that, that of course I feel like gravitates toward my sound, what I'm saying. I definitely feel like I am respected, and I feel like, it's a lot of dope ass artists in St. Louis. I'm sorry, cuss, but
Oh no,
dope.
you can cuss. It's
We
all
good.
good.
All right, cool. So, but we talking about dope artists in St. Louis. You know what I'm saying? Even the cats who are more on the street side, like they so creative. You know what I mean? Like some of their sounds and the things that they do, like you can't not respect it. You know what I mean? So I feel like St. Louis music scene as a whole is one of the most underrated scenes in the United States. We got that, that Nelly pen, and then that was pretty much it. Like nobody really seen nothing else until Smino came around. You know what I'm saying? Then Smino came around, and this, is still semi of a detachment here. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, like don't let him tell no different or us tell no different. That's St. Louis through and through, you know what I'm saying? So, but I feel like, you know what I'm saying, the city as a whole, man, it's love, you know what I'm saying? Of course, I feel like I got some more work to do. The job is never done. And I feel like with this next release, the city going to feel me. They ain't going to have no choice but to feel me. I'm finna be in everybody's face, on everybody's corner, on everybody's phone, on everybody's block and favorite store and restaurant. Because, yeah, I got some work to do. I still feel like, I want my what I deserve and what I'm gonna put in the work to earn. And like I said, and at the end of the day, it's always about I gotta earn it. Some people that know me, some people that don't. So my job is to make sure that people that don't feel me and believe, just like people that's outside the city and people that's been knowing me since I started. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I definitely see your presence. Like I seen you perform like early. I think was it early last year? It was early last year at the Beauty and
Where?
the Beast
Yeah, the Sauce Records. Shout out to
performance.
Sauce to them. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll ask you about that later. But that was my first time even seeing. I was like, okay, who's this person? Okay, now
Yeah.
I gotta download his music. Now I gotta
Word.
download A Game music. So that was like
Yeah.
my first time. And then even after that, I started just seeing your presence just more, just people that I follow on social media. And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, his presence is known. So it's like you doing something right.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's like, well, if you don't know him, you need to know him because
Facts.
he's out, you out here.
What you
But
said.
I
What you said, Danny.
for real. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Facts.
And then it's good to just support St. Louis artists just in general, especially, your messaging, which brings me to you said, you're a dad, you have a son. Do you feel like you have to be careful with the music that you produce because you want to be, a role model for him? Like you don't want to say certain things in your lyrics because he's listening. So how do you like are you careful with, how you write your music when it comes to that?
Absolutely. I'm conscious of everything that I say, even before I have my son, honestly, you know what I'm saying? Because of, you know, uh, I'm a very big, you know, believer in you receive the energy that you put off, that you give off. So, I ain't never been out here talking about shoot 'em up, bang, bang, because I ain't live that life for one. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So ain't no sense of faking a front. You know what I'm saying? Like, my motto is do you. So I'm gonna let you know. I went to school, I did this, I did that, and you know what I'm saying? And of course, I definitely more aware of what I say because of him, my family, and then like I said, just the reciprocation aspect of, the energy you put out there. You know what I mean? So I know, of course, and it's real, it's still raw, I'm still keeping it to you funky, you know what I'm saying? Because, at the end of the day, if he don't hear it from me, he gonna go out there and hear it in the world from somebody else no matter what. You know what I'm saying? And the world we live in, he on YouTube and TikTok and all that stuff all day anyway, so he gonna hear it. You know what I'm saying? But the way I produce, the way I put my stuff down, like sometimes I write songs and I don't even cuss, just not even trying. You know what I mean? It's like it's just something that was instilled in me as a youngin. My pops told me, people who cuss a lot, just not as intelligent because it's just they don't have the intelligence to find a better word to replace that cuss word. You know what I mean? So it's just a lack of intelligence when you just overly cussing for no reason.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like, come on now. You know what I mean? So my mom's a language arts teacher too. You know, I got a family that's real, you know, real pillars in the community. You know, and it's not, you know, I'm not the person to here to bring, you know, any negative energy towards my last name, because that's not what I was taught. That's not how I was brought up. So I'm very aware. You know, I'm a family man. So, you know, of course I won't be able to play my songs for my grandma, play my songs for my aunties. Some songs you can't, you know, it's just what it
Right.
is, because it's about balance, you know what I'm saying? But at the same
Right.
time, because I got my own, I do my own thing. I got my own side, of course, and, you know, everybody grew up different. So, but yeah, I'm very conscious about what I say and how I do it. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm really like, I'm a hip hop head through and through to the core. Like, you know, it started off, I was real rapidy. You know what I'm saying? Like lyrical miracle, you know, that type of guy. But then, of course, I developed a melodic side as I was growing just through my artistry, you know, and it became, I found a nice balance. And I'm kind of happy with the direction where I'm headed to now. But definitely aware of what I'm saying because of my son and family, and just, you know, it's enough of that negative stuff, man. Don't nobody want to hear all that, man. People want to be happy. People want to feel good when they listen to music. People want to, you know, be, you know, in higher spirits with all this negativity and low frequencies going on. You know?
All right. And even if you were rapping about stuff that you weren't even about that life, somebody gonna call you out, whether it
Oh,
be
for
your
sure.
family or people that'll be
Facts.
like, man, you ain't about that life. You was a
Facts.
punk, or you
Yeah.
weren't even about that life. So people will
Facts.
call you
Like,
out anyway. So
no,
it's like, let me just
that
stand on
energy
this.
gonna come right back tenfold. Trust and believe. You know what I mean? We've seen it happen time and time again. These rappers that be out here talking that stuff, and then unfortunately, you know, they gone the next day, or, you know, they locked up, or they this or they that. You know what I'm saying? You just never know. And even if you're not talking about it, that stuff can still happen to you in the city that we live in, because, you know,
Mm-hmm.
it's just what it is. People, you might be the most conscious, positive rapper in the world, and you get shot. You know, I believe, what was it, Thistle? You know, he's borderline gospel. He's a gospel rapper. You know what I mean? He was trying, almost robbed and shot. You know what I mean? So it's like, you just never know. You know what I mean? And this world we living in. So I always make it a point, you know, make sure I'm speaking positive, speaking life, showing love at all times, and no matter who you are, where you are, if you're from the city, it's all love. But at the same time, you know, keep your guard up and understand that, you know, it can happen to anybody. So, and like I said, and, you know, ain't no, you know, I ain't the one to, you know, run from nothing. But I'm smart, I'm intelligent. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be able to fix it before it gets to that point. And if it does get to that point, you know, you gotta do what you gotta do. But, you know, like I said,
Right.
that's, the city made us, prepared us for those situations. You know what I'm saying?
I agree.
Those situations, for sure.
I can respect that. So we're gonna take a little break, and when we come back, I'm gonna ask you some more questions, and we're gonna play a little game. That sound good?
That's better.
Okay, we'll be back, y'all. All right, y'all, we are back. So you're signed to Sauce Records, and along with you, there are a lot of other talented artists on there. I actually had the opportunity to interview Lydia Caesar like early last year. But I want to know, how did that process go about with you getting signed? Like, how did that opportunity present itself?
So I know my brother A Game, they actually were doing a project with him. Him and Early did that project Across the River. And so, like, that was during their recording process. That was my first time actually meeting Wayne and Lydia in that time frame. And then at that time, they were planning the Center Stage Showcase. And so when they planned the Center Stage Showcase, and they're like, you should be on the showcase. You know, I just moved back to the city from Kansas City, because I was going to school up there, and I stayed up there for a while. That's where my son was and everything. So, and at that time, you know, I just moved back here. And so when I moved here, and I was like, all right, let me do something to kind of get back into, you know, the scene and see what's going on. I did the showcase and I won it. And so, like, you know, I ended up winning the showcase, the same showcase that A and Early ended up performing at, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, it was just a lit situation. And then from that point on, like I said, the winning would have, of course, the prize for the showcase was like to do a song. So I do a song with the Sauce Records, produce something under them. And so they end up actually taking it further and said, we're going to do a full project. So that was like, they like, you know what I'm saying, they kind of rock with the vibe, you know what I'm saying, they like what I was doing and where I was going. And so they let's do a full project. I'm like, I bet, you know what I mean? So I was like, I bet. So I had a project, you know what I mean? We ended up getting that going and getting in motion. And then I Told You came about. So we did I Told You, was like, yo, we got to put this out. And then that wasn't even really going to be on the project. We just kind of did it while we had been recording. So we put it out, and that just, it went crazy. And so then, of course, you know, after that, then we finished up the full project, put the project out. And then throughout that time, essentially, I'm not necessarily signed to Sauce Records, but I am, like I said, we had that project. It was like a one project, one song, single type of deal. And so, of course, that was with them. And Wayne Liddy, that's like family now, you know what I mean? From that process and, really integrating me into the scene and, helping me kind of go through a few doors that I wouldn't have been able to go through without them. Like, eternally grateful for, to kind of really reintroduce myself, you know what I mean? Like, to the city, because I've been gone for years. I went to school back in '08, and then I came back, saying in 2017, 2016, saying like for good. So like, but of course, between that time, I was coming back and forth doing shows. Aiden, we had a bunch of shows and stuff still playing and going, even though I was coming back hosting and leaving and performing and things like that. But I was back. That they allowed me to come back and really reintroduce myself through those series of shows. I Told You, and of course that project, that we partnered on and put out. So like I said, it's big love with Wayne and Lydia for sure. Because man, without them, like I said, I Told You wouldn't be here. A lot of like my audio biography mixtape, we wouldn't have did that Unplugged event last year, like in November, that sold out with the full band, with the Sauce band. It was, it's a lot of great things that came from that situation. We still work, what I mean? But like I said, I know, like I said, we, that's family for sure. Without them, like I said, we probably wouldn't even be here talking.
Right. No, they definitely are cool people. I've met them. They are. So what was the inspiration behind I Told You? Because it seems like it's just one of those songs that it's just no matter how old it gets, it's just still gonna be in style. So what was the story of the inspiration behind that?
The inspiration was really when it's kind of crazy because it was like the move I made from Kansas City to here. You know what I mean? Like it was one of the moments where like, I think when I moved here, like stuff was rough. You know what I'm saying? Like I tried to transfer a job didn't transfer. So then I was looking for a job. I was down bad. You know what I mean? That first little year I was here. And then like right at the end of that year is when all these different things start happening. Like, I got a better job, you know what I mean? I got a better job than I won the competition, you know what I mean? And then of course, a lot of things start picking up for me at that time frame. And it was just me about having faith in myself, you know what I'm saying? Continually telling people like, I'm gonna get it, I'm gonna figure it out. And I ain't quitting. My mom was like, you gonna do this, you'll do this, or you gonna get out, or you gonna this, you know what I'm saying? I was like, nah, I got it. So now, I end up buying the house, where my mom was threatening me to kick me out of, now it's mine. You know what I mean? It was like, it was all these different things that start happening for me, because of just me not giving up on myself. And then, not really tapping into what the negative things that people were saying, family and friends. You know what I mean? So, and it was just one of those songs that just, I feel like a lot of people relate to, because every day we going through a struggle. Every day we being doubted. Every day we're being told, no, we can't do this, we can't do that. And if you believe in yourself, that's all that matters. You know what I mean? Between you and God at the end of the day. You know what I mean? Nobody's going to walk those steps to your life for you. You know what I mean? So, and then when you get to that point to where you cross the other side of that adversity and that struggle, and you get to that point to where it's like, yeah, this was all me. I did this. You know what I mean? Like, I told you. You know what I'm saying? Right. So it's like, it's going to be a forever song, a forever move for people that are continually trying to get better and that better their situation. And, whether it's financially, physically, mentally, spiritually, whatever it is. But once you get to that mountaintop, you can look down and say, I told you. You know what I mean? Not like in a, cocky, arrogant way, but it's just like, I always believed in myself and I never stopped believing myself. You know what I mean? That's, hey, I told you, to believe in me too. But,
and it's kind of to prove people wrong too. Like, I'm gonna do this, and then you do like I told you, I told you I was gonna do it. Just it's almost like a promise you making to yourself and to your doubters too. So that can always be like whenever you feeling down, you can always resort back to that song. Like you personally, like you feel like man, you like in a rough spot, and you can be like, let me listen to this song. Let me get my pick me song.
Facts, and that's it. Like I said, and that's definitely one of them songs. Like people always tell me, like, yo, that song just doesn't get old. Like I said, because that's just everybody is going through something. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's living a perfect life. Like no matter what it look like on the internet, what they post, what they say, how they smile in front of you when you see them. Nobody's living a perfect life. It don't exist, honestly. You know what I'm saying? But everybody's fighting something, some trial, tribulation, something that they going through themselves, or something they going through with somebody else. And once you get on the other side of that, of course, like I said, you're always going to have naysayers and people that don't believe. At the end of the day, it's up to you to continue to believe in yourself no matter what nobody's saying. Like I said, every day, at some point, you're going to say, I told you. It's at some point, if you're continually trying to get better,
So what made you want to do the Unplugged your unplugged album or series where you just did the performances? Because I had only heard of that, through MTV, like when Lauryn Hill did it and other artists. So it's almost kind of like you brought that back. What made you want to do
Yeah.
something like that?
That Lauryn Hill Unplugged, one of my favorite albums of all time, top 5 for me personally, because kind of piggyback on what we were just at. That was this album I listened to almost like every day, almost every other day in that down period of my life when I moved
Mm-hmm.
back and I was trying to get through it. You know what I mean? That was my breakfast, that was my dinner, you know what I mean? It was like I was feeding my soul with that album. And then I've always wanted to get with a band. Like that was one of my biggest goals. Like when I started rapping, like I used to perform in Kansas City. I was doing street performance with a band. You know what I mean? Like I toured in the college market, with this a DJ, drummer, and me as an MC kind of trio. You know what I mean? So I was always tapped into, like I said, because I was in the band. So I loved, live instrumentation, arrangements, things like that. So it's always a dream of mine to have my own band. You know what I mean? And so it then kind of coming into, like I said, St. Louis, and then I had that experience with the MTV Unplugged Lauryn Hill joint, and I've always loved that. Love the Jay-Z one, the Alicia Keys one, like all these different ones played a big part, like in my, seeing that back in high school, middle school and stuff, and that stuff was actually cracking, on a regular basis. It was just one of those things like I got to do this. And then I never seen it in the city. Nobody really had done it outside of people who actually travel with a band all the time. Like I never seen a rapper do an unplugged in St. Louis, like in that same style. And so I was like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, let's do that. And then I feel like the album that we had made with Sauce was appropriate for that. I mean, it was real introspective. It was real, self-reflecting, through the times that I went through before I moved back to St. Louis and while I was here. Like it was real reflective, and I wanted to, kind of shed light on some shows, told a bunch of stories that I'd never told and talked about, on that project. And, it just kind of fit that mold to sit down and, have a band play and, talk to people between songs, talking through it. And it was therapeutic for me, to tell you the truth. You know what I'm saying? I loved it. I loved every single second about that night, that recording process, like everything. That was amazing. I love that. That was one of my favorite moments in my career. Tell you right now.
And it seems so authentic with a band too,
Yeah.
because like with you, you were in band in high school, so of course you just kind of went back to your natural roots of,
Mm-hmm.
and now I get to actually perform with a band. Like you don't have
Yeah.
to per se play an instrument, but you're actually part of it, and it definitely
Thanks.
is just super authentic because you're not like producing like on a board or anything. It's just like all you
Mm-hmm.
have are these sounds to
Exactly.
create this experience. So
Yeah.
it's definitely different because I was like, unplugged. Wait a minute, like Lauren
Yeah.
Hill unplugged, and I was listening to. I was
Thanks.
like, okay, I had never heard like no one else do that besides
Yeah. The up
like
top.
the ups. But it was like,
Yeah.
but you're on that level. It seems like you're trying to get to that level. Like, well, they can do it, so how come I can't do it? You
What you
know.
said, and like I said, now they always tell you, you know what I'm saying. Like if you want to, be in a certain industry or a certain business or a certain field, you have to perform like you're playing on that top level, no matter what level you're on. You know what I mean? That's why a lot of people look at me, they be like, man, your rollout for this song was dope, or bro, how did you do that? Like, what did you do? Like, I just pay attention to the people that is doing it on the major level. You know what I mean? They just do it on the scale that I am, wherever people perceive that I am, and that and continue to do it in a professional manner until I get called up to the big leagues. You know what I mean? And then we doing this on a national scale, and it was just like one of those things where I don't see things and be like, nah, I can't do that. That ain't how my mind works. My mind is like, all right, I see that. I'm gonna try to figure out how I can finesse it in my own way, make it my own, and will use my means and resources to make it happen. Because I can do anything. My mama told me that as a kid, and I feel that way to this day. I tell my son that every day. I ain't nothing I can't do. I'll tell you that right now. I'll figure it out. Give me a day or two.
That's good motivation though. So speaking of like the big artists, you've opened up for quite a few big artists. Like I was
Yeah.
saying in the beginning, Ludacris, Young Jock, Ella Mai, Cameron. That's just a few of them. So out of all the people you've opened up for, which one was the greatest experience?
That's a good question. Uh, I think what was the best experience so far? I'm gonna have to say the Ella Mai situation, which was it was me and A Game, and then real early as well from the east side. So like he slid. That was his first time going on the road with us. You know, we had been touring the college market for a long time, and like I said, I know with that show, you know, we got booked. You know, with A. You know, wherever I go, he go. Wherever he go, I go. You know what I mean? So that was a situation where he got booked, but it was like in Virginia. Was it Virginia? Oh my God, they gonna kill me. It's a Virginia college in Virginia Commonwealth, I believe the name of it was like a D2 school. So like it was like in this arena, like, you know, they brought us in, you know, we had the big old green room, like it was like a stadium type vibe, like, and then we talking about like huge stage, you know, laid us out with the food, what y'all want, you know what I mean, y'all needs, we had a per assistance, and it was just like a crazy, like, oh, like, bro, we almost hurt. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, we almost like that made it. That's how we felt, at least doing that show. And then Early had never been with us on the road. You know what I mean? So that was a dope time that we had. And then, like I said, you know, I always come out, open up the show, get the crowd hype, you know what I mean, and do things, you know, do my set. And then when everybody came on stage, you know what I mean? So it was like I think that the Ella Mai, then everybody, we met Ella Mai, Sweetie, all of them was all on that same show. And it was just a dope situation. The whole team was there. Like I said, it was a big old stage. We was on these big ass speakers. Like, it was dope. That and then I ain't gonna lie to you, Kyle was dope too. We opened up for Kyle, Super Duper Kyle, down in Texas. That was hard because I threw water on the crowd and they lost their mind.
It was like rock star shit.
Yeah, that shit was hard. I don't know if you know DJ Kimmy New. But Kimmy was
yeah, I love Kimmy.
Yeah, Kimmy was DJing, and like I got this bottle of water. Kimmy was looking at me like, "Don't do it, don't do it." I was like, "Ah!" Through that joint, man. The kids lost it. We was raging.
Just in the moment.
Yeah, man. That was. That was too about time for real. I ain't gonna fake it to you because that was one of the ones where. Yeah, that was one of the ones too. But yeah, I like those two. My top two for sure. Guarantee Super Duper Kyle and then the Ella Mai Sweetie show for sure.
So when you've opened up for all these artists, do you like build connections like with their team, or is it just like, hi, bye, you know, thanks for opening up for me? Like, what's the relationship like?
Yeah, so you know, like when them big artists like Ella Mai, like we saw her like just like real quick, like when she got off, we just kind of like went and plotted in the hallway because we knew she was getting off stage, you know what I mean? So we can say hi, take a picture, whatever. They didn't even let us take a picture with Ella Mai, but Sweetie stopped, you know what I mean? So it was like, but when we get booked for these shows, we do it through a organization where we go to this conference, get booked through the college market, and they book us to their shows. Maybe it's an opening act, maybe it's a main with a headline act. You know, it just all depends on what fits for whatever program that they got going on. But yeah, when we meet these artists, like some of them, like I said, we can't touch them, you know, so we can't get close to them. You know, we ain't see Kyle, like, you know, they kind of clear off the back, you know, before they bring the person on, you know, things like that. No matter if you perform or not, you got to go. You know what I'm saying? So, but of course, as we try to plan ourselves in the right spots, you know what I'm saying, to see the manager and see, you know, we can get a glimpse and get a picture, stuff like that. So at the end of the day, you know, we still hella regular, you know, you know what I'm saying, to them at least, you know what I'm saying? So, but to the kids and the students and the people in the crowd, you know, we not, but at the same time, you know, they still blocking us off like we fans and shit because we hockey are. But at the same time, we trying to finesse our way to a manager or A&R, somebody that, you know, can help change our situation.
Because y'all still artists at the end. They're like, yeah, I'm a fan, but I'm still an artist too. Like, I have a craft too.
Exactly. You ain't just see that? You ain't just see what we just did? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know, we ain't coming like that. We just like, you know, trying to plant ourselves in the right spots. So just, you know, at the end of the day, we know it's all about timing. You know, the right people going to see us at the right time, and then, you know, things going to make sense. You know, so we don't fan out too hard.
If you do, I'm sure it'll be okay, but you know, gotta remain professional at some point, I guess. So who are some of your musical influences? Like, who are people that you admired growing up?
Jay-Z, for sure. You know, that's the top of the top, the epitome of, you know, these successful hip-hop rap artists that came from nothing to something. Kanye was a big influence coming up. Like, it's undeniable. His music catalog is speak for itself. Kid Cudi, Lupe Fiasco, like the whole good music. That's where I kind of lived at. You know what I mean? Good music, the comment, and then, you know, I like I said, I was into a lot of alternative stuff too, like coming up. Like we was different. Like me, A, and my best friends, you know what I'm saying? We listen to everybody put each other on some different stuff, like real alternative type of sounds. So it kinda expanded our area. We listen to like Yellow Card, we listen to like System of a Down, like it was a bunch of different like rock influence, like we were just kind of weird, what I'm saying, when it came to music, like we just like good music and didn't really care who it came from. You know what I mean? But so yeah, but like as far as hip hop wise, like I said, Cuddy, Kanye, Jay, uh, Biggie, one of my favorite, Big L, one of my favorite when I started doing my homework. I was a late bloomer to Nas because I was such a Jay-Z fan. I was biased, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, then of course, then you got, when the up and comers that really kind of changed my look on it, and like the new wave, Wiz Khalifa, Big Sean, J. Cole and them definitely was some major influences when they start coming up. We got to see them from beginning to now, you know what I'm saying? Right. So that was really, it was realistic for us at that time, you know what I'm saying? So we start seeing them, and then we watched, Wiz Khalifa from them day-to-day vlogs to where he is now. It's just, we literally, grew with these artists. So they had a big influence on us as well, on myself.
So have you been tuning into the versus battles?
Yeah, I seen a couple of them. The main one that I watched was Nelly and Ludacris. That was the only one that I saw from beginning to end. All the other ones was, it was cool, but we watched Nelly and Ludacris for show, for the home team.
So if the quality was right,
oh my God, don't do this. Don't ask me this question. Don't ask me.
I mean, I'm just saying, who would you pick? Like, if the quality was good, who would you have picked? Regardless on what the people thought, but who would you have
like picked? my personal ranking on that battle specifically?
Yes.
My St. Louis want to say Nelly so bad. My St. Louis itching and they want to say Nelly. But Ludacris won the battle. We're talking about the battle. Ludacris won the battle. And I didn't mention him either, but he was a real big influence on me as well, like coming up, like as far as flow wise. And like him and Outkast, like with some of the big Atlanta cats that like they flow is just like crazy. It was just like, man, he need to change flows every 4 bars. You know what I'm saying? Like it was just like cadences was wild. And there was some people that I really gravitated to coming up when I started driving. When I had my first car, I was listening to hella Outkast, hella Luda, but Luda won that battle, man. He did.
Yeah, he did. I can agree with that.
Nelly just didn't pick the right songs, man. Like
I said the same thing. I'm like, why are you playing this stuff? Like, what are these songs? But just by default, just because he's from St. Louis, I'm like, I'm still picking because we know his worth. We know what songs he should have played.
Man, me when people pulled up, we had the perfect playlist. If you would have just played it in our order, he would have won for sure. Because we knew it, man. Yeah, but. Ludacris got some joints though. You know what I'm saying? Let's not. Ludacris got some joints, and then his flows.
I think he's underrated a little bit too. Like I feel like he's underrated. Like people don't know. Like he had a lot of good hits. Like from beginning to end, he has never had a dull moment in music at all.
Facts. He was always super consistent. He always had dope singles and legitimate bodies of work. And then he battled with the beefs and shit he was in. He was always coming out on top. He had the T.I. He had that joint against T.I. Like he shredded T.I. on that song. You know what I'm saying? It was just like, but yeah, man, Ludacris been super consistent. And then I think at the age where like, he's transitioned to acting, you know what I'm saying? That's what a lot of people kind of like, he was so good at acting too, people just wrote him off. Like, and then as people were starting to, be aware, they wasn't tripping off his music because music started changing, you know what I'm saying? And, but yeah, man, Ludacris definitely won that battle. I know shout out to my people over at Dirty. I know some people over there, a couple of my homies, we tapped in still with Dirty and them, but yeah, man, they should have let me make the playlist, bro.
Well, now they have a different setup now to where both of the artists have to be in the same studio, so there won't be any technical difficulties. Word. So if That's it was smart. To happen like today, then he definitely win. Just because I just think the fact that he had bad audio. You know, and he was kind of a little tipsy,
Yeah, he was up there for sure. He was up there for sure, but bruh, the playlist, the selection was just, no matter where you at, you cannot play unreleased music in a song for song battle. Like that's not in the rules. Right. You didn't have to do that to yourself. But
I agree.
Yeah, he had to play the dreams for the culture. He ain't do it. It's cool. Shout out to Nelly.
Right. Shout out to Nelly. We still love you, Nelly.
I love you, good. Love you, Dirty.
I love you, cuz, it's just, we don't have to, dive in too more, but he knows. I'm
Yeah,
sure he didn't got
I
chewed
be
out
salty
for it.
about that. If you can't tell, I'm like I really like had a problem with that battle, and I was hurt by that. But it's cool. It's cool. We good. We passed it now.
Right.
Nelly, holla at me,
So,
man.
so if you were to throw in the towel now, like today or at some point, and decided not to create music anymore, what would you do? Like, what profession would you choose?
Mm, that's deep. That's deep.
Or you can just be like, I'm gonna do this until I'm rich, and that's that. I mean, you
Yeah.
don't have to throw in the towel. It's a hypothetical question.
Touche. Yeah. Because I always felt like if I wasn't doing music, I would always be involved in music somehow. Whether I'm songwriting, whether I'm A&R, whether I'm you know
Well, that
doing
still counts,
something.
yeah.
Yeah, something that has something to do with, or like some sort of creative director or producer on videos. Because I love videos, I love like visuals, and just the creating aspect of behind that. Like I said, I started writing the script for this short film that we will be released on my project in October. So I fell in love with just the visual. And I'm a very visual person, so excuse me, but I would say yeah, something within like screenwriting or producing.
Hmm.
Uh, yeah, I think that might be like some sort of screenwriter production, or some sort of like executive producer, or creative director.
Okay, okay. So, would you consider moving out the state, to continue to pursue music, or would you just stay, just live here locally and just travel to network and do performances and such?
I would consider moving. Absolutely. I feel like in the day and age we are now, that wouldn't be it wouldn't have to be too necessary because what I mean, and I know I'm rooted here too because I want to make sure I'm here around for my son. Doing these early years of school, and but I wouldn't want to move until maybe high school or somewhere around there to where we're a little more you know got the foundation laid. You know what I mean, to where I know he can be solid. But I'm definitely wouldn't be opposed to it. If the right situation came along, you know, I would be able to make it happen. Obviously, to get back to do what I need to do on both ends. But yeah, I've always I've always definitely entertained that aspect because I know St. Louis is flyover city. You know what I mean. A lot of opportunities don't necessarily just fall in your lap here. You have to be in a Chicago or New York or Cali or Atlanta, something like that to get those A&Rs and people that could just be in a club while you performing at a mic that change your life all of a sudden. You know what I mean? So I truly traveled a lot for those type of opportunities, and but yeah, I would definitely make the move if it was necessary. If it was a absolute must, and I had no choice to be able
Hmm.
to travel back and forth, let's do it.
Hmm.
Let's do it for
Right.
sure.
So, if you had the option to collaborate with any person that you wanted to, who would it be, dead or alive?
Dead or alive?
Mm-hmm.
That's a good one. That's a good one. Because I've always said I want to make a song with I want to do one with Michael Jackson for
Mm-hmm.
sure. And then that was like one of the top of my list. And then and my man's went crazy, but it was Kanye. You know what I'm saying? Like when he went off he was always one of them. Like it was Mike and Kanye for me. You know what I'm saying? Like those are my top two. Where it's like I want to get in the studio with them, and we could probably come up with something crazy for sure.
Okay.
For sure.
So we're gonna play a little game. It's called Golden or Garbage. So it's like a this or that. So I'll give you two options. And you don't have to say the other is garbage, but you can say which one out of the options are more golden.
That
So so my first question is, who would you pick in a versus battle? Hypothetically, if this was to happen, Tupac or Biggie? Which one is
Biggie,
more golden? Biggie? Oh, that's easy.
Biggie Gold,
Okay.
easy. Yeah. Now I had these conversations with people all the time. I'm a big Biggie,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
Gold.
So if you had to pick whom to do a collaboration with, who would you choose, Lil Baby or Wale?
Lil Baby, go. The hottest thing in the game right now. No, shout out to Wale.
I know. I fuck with Wale.
Yeah.
What about J. Cole or Kendrick?
J. Cole, Gold.
Okay.
Cole.
So I got some St. Louis edition questions.
Yeah.
Which song would you? I already think I know who you gonna pick, but I'm gonna still ask you. So, which song do you think is better, or your better choice, or that hit harder? Country Grammar or Right There?
Ooh, Country Grammar.
Mm-hmm.
Right There hard too though. I like Right There hard too though. But Country Grammar just
but
classic.
Country Grammar was like it put us on the map. So.
Yeah, facts. It's up there for sure.
What about the Cardinals or the Blues? Whether if you don't watch it, like which group would you rep over the other, or just in general how they play?
You see how we come, man. The Cardinals fitted, man. You know how we come. That's the.
You was to say the other, and I'd be like, okay,
right.
Something else.
I just got a Blues. I got a Blues custom jersey by Brock Seals. That's the only Blues paraphernalia I have, but it ain't even Blues on it. It's just like a blank jersey that I was like, Brock, paint on this.
Paint on it.
Yeah.
So one of my last questions is, if you had the choice, what would you rather bring back? Which would you rather bring back? The St. Louis Rams or a basketball team, the St. Louis Hawks? Even though the Hawks are in Atlanta, but which one would you bring back? Football team or a basketball team?
I'm a basketball guy, so I would definitely like to see how that would have changed, like the environment of the city, because we had a chance to see what the Rams did. I would say that the basketball team. I would say bring the basketball team back, because I think that would be that'd be interesting.
We haven't seen that.
We have never seen that. You know what I mean? We never seen that. We are real Republican and PWI state. You know what I'm saying? So that's why. Yeah. So we all know how that go. Basketball. That's more our sport. That's more our steez. So. I think that would have gave us a more of a urban flair to the city, to our name.
An urban flair in
their terms, Which is, so I think I'm basketball, so I'd rather see St. Louis Hawks go.
I agree. So, what projects do you have coming up that you can share? Like what's coming these next few months, within a year, that you can share, that you care to share?
So what we can share right now, we got FaceTime. It's a single with Jones, formerly Jones Boy, coming out here soon. Like actually in the next couple weeks. Next week, it's actually next Thursday. So yeah, next Thursday we dropping FaceTime on some extremely dope platforms. So just stay tuned for that. And then also that's one of the singles leading up to my project Late Night Flights. So Late Night Flights will be dropping in October. So I'm not gonna say the date, but yeah, we're shooting for mid-October. And so yeah, man, Late Night Flights, that's it. And then we got another maybe surprise single before Late Night Flights drop. We'll probably just throw it out there. And yeah, then Late Night Flights is gonna take us into next year. And then me and A-Game working on a project. We're gonna actually get out to Cali next month and kind of get the ball rolling on that. As we closing up the door on Late Night Flights, a mixtape series we're gonna start called Starsky and Hutch. So that's my immediate game plan leading us into 2021. So I'm excited.
Well, you're gonna be busy. We only got like 4 months left.
Yeah, so we got some. We finna get cracking and real quick. And then like I said, we got the Late Night Flights experience that's gonna be taking place too. So we got a show that after we release the project, do the drive-in style show. So it'll be based in New City, showing a short film and all those type of things. So yeah, so it's pretty dope. So those are the things I got coming up. Late Night Flights, October. FaceTime coming next week. And Starsky and Hutch, we finna get the ball rolling on that too. Me and A been long overdue, but it's all about timing, man. I had to do some things, he had to do some things. So now we in the right space creatively to put those pieces of the puzzle together and do it the right way. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
Well, I appreciate you making an appearance on the Gold Spot podcast. I enjoyed talking with you. Where can the people follow you on? Like socials, website, all of that.
So website where you can get everything, anything MC Trey, mctrey.net. So mctrey.net, we're gonna have everything, and then merchandise coming out too with the project. I keep some hoodies and some t-shirts on deck. But and MC Trade on everything. So Facebook, Instagram, MCTRES, and the MCTrade.net. Yeah, tap in, man. I appreciate everything that you do for what you've been doing here for the culture, creating these platforms, during these times, staying creative. I appreciate you and this opportunity for sure.
Thank you, thank you. All right, y'all, we are out.
Hey, 3.